Jerusalem. Jerusalem united. Many nations see Jerusalem as holy, yet none has held her as sacred as the Jews. None has wept for her destruction so mournfully, and none awaited her rebirth with such passion. These stones have held together for 2,000 years without plaster, like the Jewish people when it had no state, and yet preserved its entity. After 2,000 years, the Jewish people has come back to the cradle of its birth, renewing its link with the memories of the past. HaKotel HaMaravi, the Western Wall. Within these ancient stones, the faith and history of the Jewish people are engraved forever. A tradition never broken has found new strength. It is nourished by access to holy shrines and historical places long denied to the Jewish people. This pillar is called after Absalom, the son of David. It is said that Absalom named the pillar for himself, since he had no son to keep his name in remembrance. On the road to Bethlehem, the pools of Solomon reflect across the centuries the wisdom and devotion which built a nation not with the sword, but with the spirit. Hebron, the city of the patriarchs. These walls, now part of a mosque, surround the cave of Machpelah, the burial place of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and their wives. Even under the British Mandate, Jews were forbidden to approach beyond the seventh step. Today, Jews and Muslims alike walk freely to a shrine which is sacred to both. Free access to all these places is one of the outcomes of Israel's victory in the days of June 1967. It all began here at the Gulf of Eilat, Israel's lifeline to the east. To keep this lifeline open, to survive, Israel was forced to fight a war she did not seek. 6 incredible days in June. The guns of the enemy were spiked, the blockade lifted, the unbelievable victory won. The exploits of Israel's army will be told from one generation to another, as long as men cherish freedom, as long as small nations strive for the dignity of their existence. Whatever the outcome of a final peace settlement, the map of Israel has changed. In the east, the Jordan River forms the natural frontier between the Kingdom of Jordan and the areas under Israel's control. The main sources of the river, so vital for the development of the water-starved South, are not any longer in danger of being diverted. Near one of them, the springs of the Banyas, a new Jewish settlement is being established on land reclaimed by the Jewish National Fund. At Kfar Etzion, where kibbutzim stood on JNF land before being razed by the Arab Legion in the War of 1948, the rebuilding of these settlements is being considered. At the Dead Sea, the site of Bet Araba, another settlement destroyed in the War of Independence, can be visited again. In the north, the Golan Heights above the Galilee no longer threaten the Israeli settlements below. From these heights, farms and homes were shelled at random, casually, almost every day. Gadot, one of the many settlements built on JNF land in this area, was hit by hundreds or even thousands of shells. Now the Syrian mortars, the Syrian bunkers which threatened these settlements by day and night, have been captured and disarmed. In the south, the disabled Egyptian tanks in the Gaza Strip are a silent reminder of their once constant threat to the Jewish settlements in the surroundings. Nahal Oz, only 800 meters from the Gaza Strip, refused to evacuate the women and children as suggested by the army officer in command. The view that the most efficient border defense lies in a closely knit population, deeply rooted in its soil, has been vindicated. The work of the Keren Kayemet in the border areas has been fully justified. Since the establishment of the state, the Jewish National Fund has been instrumental in opening up uncultivated border regions and transforming their lands into part and parcel of Israel. The country is small, and as each piece of land is precious, every cranny and dale had to be plowed, every hill and mountain to be made green. The first step in cultivating and fortifying Israel's frontiers was always the building of roads, often closely hugging the border. It was on such roads that Israel's army moved forward on June 5, 1967, when the hour of decision came. The forests planted by the JNF proved no less a factor in the defense of the country. It was in such forests that Israel's armor hid before hitting back. Survival, security, a life without the constant threat of enemy guns. These are some of the results of the 6 days in June. All over the country, a new spirit is about. New settlements are going up. New roads are being built. New forests arise on parched hills. In the words of Jakob Zur, chairman of the Keren Kayemet, we have before us a colossal task. Just as the JNF strengthened Israel's frontiers and developed border settlements, so will the JNF be called upon to strengthen existing positions and to prepare a new wave of land settlement so vital for the future of Israel. After 3 wars in 19 years, the frontiers of Israel have been changed, and with it, the tasks which lie ahead. Once more, a decisive turn has taken place in the fortunes of Israel and the Jewish people. In Jerusalem, Arabs mingle with Jews in the new city, and Jews and Arabs in the old city. There is hope that some new ways of living together will be found. Mount Scopus, redeemed in 1927 by the Keren Kayemet for the Hebrew University and the Hadassah Medical Hospital, is again part of the living organism of the city. Here the cave of Nicanor, the burying place of Menachem M. Usishkin, the erstwhile president of the Keren Kayemet, and of Leon Pinsker, one of the old Zionist guards, is free to visitors again. Jerusalem has shaken off her division. There is only one united city. The JNF will plant a forest park in commemoration of the soldiers who fell in the battle for Israel's ancient capital. A special volume of the Golden Book, Jerusalem Restored, will forge another link between the city and Jewry all over the world. In 19 years, there has been no more hopeful moment than that in which the Jews and Arabs walk freely and unafraid in the narrow streets of a unified Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the testing ground for two peoples learning to live in peace, side by side. Go through the gates. Clear ye the way of the people. Cast up the highway. Gather out the stones. Lift up a standard for the people. Thou shalt be called, sought out, a city not forsaken.